welcome to the Astrology and Spirituality Show with Alyssa and Patrick Arundell for week commencing the 13th of September. We hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, of course, each week we look at that Hermetic wheel, and last week this showed that we were in a 9 of coins situation, which is about reaping benefits, is it?
It is, but this week we move on to the even more glorious 10 of coins, 10 of pentacles. So we've done the hard work, and now we actually get to maybe enjoy some of the fruits of our labour. For some of us, this could be some monetary reward. You know, the 10 of Pentacles is a very, very good sign that we get maybe an increase in our finances in some way. But if it doesn't reflect our finances, it can reflect a happy family, some harmony coming into our situation, things that may have been strained really being ironed out, and just people getting along better. So it's a glorious card of harmony and abundance.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. And might it also be people setting their intentions about what they want in terms of goals and ambitions?
Yeah, I love
those more
that.
traditional sort of things that we think about as bringing safety and security.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. So we could, if we come at it from a sort of life coaching point of view, then maybe, set those goals, set those targets, and let's see if we can really make some progress towards it, because we certainly got the energy when it comes from the tarot to be able to do so.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, the sun in the sign of Virgo is obviously very much to do with being as efficient and productive as possible, managing those details well. And that's in a terrific trine, a 120-degree enabling trine with Pluto, the planet of transformation. Now, because they're both in earth signs, this could be at a material level, that's something that we're grappling with, where we're really making the most of each and every element that makes up the big picture of a situation. Pluto helps us to see how this is advancing our situation, and perhaps it can see some kind of physical transformation. But the Sun and Pluto in a trine can also be about what's going on deep within us. And the sign of Virgo can also be about purity, and it can be about things like diet, fitness, nutrition. So if we can tweak those things, but in a way which gives us tangible benefits, because that's what earth signs demand, and give us the opportunity to embrace, then that can be a good thing too. But there is a quarter moon at the start of this week in Sagittarius, and one of the challenges of a Sagittarius quarter moon in its square with Virgo as opposed to Pisces is that maybe we can be a bit resentful about some of the obligations and responsibilities we have. We want to fly free. Or the other way this can work is that we just try to do too much or promise more than we can realistically deliver. So with the Sun's angle to Pluto, it's important to stay very focused on the step-by-step incremental path that we're on around some kind of bigger picture. But Mars does move on Wednesday into Libra. So for the next 6 weeks, this is going to put a lot of focus, a lot of thrust on relationship matters. But Mars is technically afflicted in the sign of Libra. But I think this is one of those stabilities that actually can work quite well, because Libran people and Libran energy can be so diplomatic to the point of actually losing a sense of identity. So Mars into Libra can help us to fortify our boundaries. So if someone isn't being very fair or wants everything on their terms, we can push back. And also Venus and Mercury in Libra are actually forging some tense right angles. So when it comes to those relationship issues, although Mars can give us a lot more thrust, we still need to stay attentive to listening, hearing where someone else is coming from, as well as asserting our viewpoint. Now, of course, each week we invite people to enter their birth details, and we didn't have an entrance for this week commencing the 13th of September. However, last week we dropped a little bit of a clanger. So we selected the right charts but applied them to the wrong person. So the winner was actually Renata Sizda from London, Renata, I'm so sorry. It was actually your charts we were talking about, but we just used someone else's name. And K-pop and chilled, I'm also very sorry because you were the winner, but we didn't use the chart or the birth details that you suggested, which was for your husband Patrick. Now, Renata, I've actually written to you on Facebook today, but because we're not friends, you may not have seen it yet, but please reach out to me and we can share the clip with you. It calls the winner something else, but it is your information on week commencing the Sixes show. And I think there was a lot of potential for moving home. And then in terms of this week's winner, we're actually going to use Patrick, K-pop and chilled's husband, whose birthday is the 11th of September for this week, simply because we don't have another winner. So with no further ado, I'm going to pick up my spectacles and have a little look and see what we've got. Now, as ever, I've only really entered the details here and printed off the wheel. So we go for the natal chart first of all. So Patrick, when you were born, you had the moon in Aquarius, the same as me. In fact, your moon is conjunct my moon, but you also had it conjunct the part of fortune, but it's in the 8th house. So at the moment, the move in Saturn, or this year, the move in Saturn has been buffeting your natal moon, just like it has been with mine, and squaring up that transit in Uranus. So I think Uranus for you is in your 11th house. So Uranus is very much about your future and friendships. The 8th house is where you're devoted, and it can be about longer term financial issues, but also matters of potential finance, business matters, entrepreneurship. So I think that anything to do with property may have actually been somewhere that you've thrived over time, because you've got some lovely angles to your moon from Saturn, Mercury and Jupiter, all in the sign of Libra, but in the 4th house. And then you've got some, a very powerful set of influences also in your 5th house, including your midpoint between the moon in Aquarius and the sun at 18 degrees in Virgo, which is in your 4th house of home, emotion and family. So your midpoint is 0 degrees Sagittarius in the 5th house. So I think that when Saturn and Jupiter, along with Pluto, were moving through the sign of Capricorn, it may have initially caused some financial limitations for you based on your ascendant, on your midpoint. Your ascendant is actually 9 degrees in Cancer. But it does mean, therefore, that since then, until relatively recently, and on a continuing basis, Pluto's in your 7th house, but Saturn has now moved into your 8th, and Jupiter was there, but it's now in your 9th. So what can we make from this? Well, I think having a midpoint in Sagittarius gives you an appetite for life. You might be someone who enjoys hosting people at home, but probably people that you really trust, because you do have Chiron in the 11th house and the moon in the 8th does point towards a bit of a private nature, along with all those 4th house planets that you have with the sun, and also Saturn, Mercury and Jupiter in Libra. So there's a part of you that can be very creative and maybe loves children, and maybe you do like having people around or family members around, but I think it will be people that you're particularly close to that you may socialise more with. But in terms of your transit, I can only be really truthful with you. I think the last 2 or 3 years has probably been quite hard, and because the move in Pluto is squaring up with your natal Pluto and Venus, and will continue to do so until it moves into Aquarius in 23 initially, and then 24 more ongoingly. But before that, really since the end of 2017, when Saturn went into Capricorn, I think there probably has been some tensions for you, some uncertainties about either where to live or how to live there and whom with. And it may be in a relationship situation that you've been going through some changes. So, maybe with colleagues at work, maybe with family members, and with Saturn still in your 8th house, you may still be thinking about where you earn money, how you're devoted. Now, in terms of the solar return, the midpoint is at 14 degrees in Libra, and that is conjunct Mercury. And you also have Mars and the Sun in the 8th house. So business matters are definitely, and financial matters, is something you're still continuing to grapple with. But there's, on your solar return, it's almost like pushing you or encouraging you to rejuvenate yourself in a new and dynamic, individualistic way, because you've got Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter all in the 1st house. But the moon in Scorpio is right at the top of your chart. It's not in the 10th house, but it's very close. So your midheaven is in the sign of a Scorpio. So it means that Uranus is right at the bottom of your chart on the 4th house. So are you thinking of moving? Are you, renovating somewhere in order to have a new start? There's some kind of stuff going on, in a very personal way, over the next year, and I think it's a bit of a continuum of what has been an issue in the last 2 or 3 years, but now I feel you're beginning to come up with the exit strategy and how you're going to take things forwards, rather than feeling quite so limited and frustrated, and maybe have gone through some quite powerful emotional transitions, to be honest. So I hope that helps. So apologies to K-Pop and Chilled and Renata for getting that in juxtaposition last week. So we've read Patrick's chart for this week. Now, what about the modality? What have you chosen in terms of the oracle cards?
This week I thought we'd use the Archangel oracle cards. Really, really beautiful. Nice colours. Okay. Oh, the message for this week says, beloved one. And it's represented here by Archangel Samuel. And it says, I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. Archangel Samuel is the angel that helps us find lost things. So this could be an item. If you have lost a particular item, you can ask Archangel Samuel to maybe help you find it. But it's
I hope it applies to me, because I lost my wedding ring.
You lost your wedding ring
in the sea about 5 weeks ago.
I have asked Samuel for a bit of help with that, but I don't know. I think maybe a shark's wearing it at this point.
Well, I tell you what, Elisa was absolutely brilliant about this, because I was really annoyed with myself, but you've been absolutely lovely.
Well,
so let's hope
still
Samuel
married.
works for us.
Can't get away from me that easily.
Don't want to.
But he can also help us find, it doesn't have to be a material possession. Help us find something about ourselves that we've been searching for. And like this card says, help us find a soulmate relationship. I don't feel this has to just be a romantic relationship. To meet people who really connect with us, whether that's a hobby, something we enjoy watching, just to have someone who gets us and gets our passions and hobbies.
Can be quite rare,
can't it?
Can be
so rare, but so wonderful. So if we're looking for that, we can ask Samuel for a bit of help.
Well, that's absolutely lovely. Now, if you've yet to subscribe to our channel, we'd be really grateful if you did. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. I think in about a month's time, maybe 3 weeks, we're going to crack the 90,000 barrier. I have been doing these, and obviously with Elisa more recently, for about, it's a long time I've been doing YouTube. But because of all my health issues, it's meant I haven't been as productive as I could consistently. But I think we're really putting a lot of energy in now. So if you've yet to subscribe, be grateful. Thank you so much for our patrons. We have had a new one this week. Welcome. That's really lovely of you. And thank you also for all your comments, interactions, some lovely comments. Someone's asked if we could show them around the house. Well, it's a bit of a shambles at the moment still, to be honest. So
let me clean first.
Yes, give us a couple of years, thank you. And but also we've had some words of the week sent in. Now, Amima, who's lovely and comes up with the most brilliant suggestions, suggested benevolence. But Amima, please to accept my apologies. We're actually going to go for Mary Midkiff. Mary also is a lovely follower, engages a lot, and she's asked us to talk about the Hawaiian word ohana.
Oh, it's so lovely. Thank you, Mary. I saw your reference to Lilo and Stitch when you put this this word on. Lilo and Stitch was a cartoon that I kind of really enjoyed watching when I was a kid, and it was based in Hawaii, and this little girl kind of takes in this creature and it becomes part of her family, and that's what this word means.
That's what you've done with me.
My creature.
Yeah.
Ohana.
Thank you for taking me on.
You sound a bit like
I
it
was
as
a
well.
poor wretch limping along in life until you saved me.
It's absolutely true.
No, we saved each other. But yeah, Ohana, it's about being family. And this doesn't just have to be blood family. This is people that we do connect with. If any of us have ever been lucky enough to go to Hawaii, Maui, I know I haven't yet, but
I've watched Hawaii Five-0.
Hawaii Five-0. It's said that if you go there and you meet people that you really get on with, you spend an amazing time with them, they may say Ohana, and it's kind of like, yeah, you're part of our family now. We've kind of taken you in.
That's lovely.
And I think that's absolutely a lovely word. Ohana also means that we are all connected. It's that universal truth that we are all one. And the last couple of years has shown that. Not in the most positive way with COVID. Obviously, that has been traumatic for us being able to go out, and also for people who have sadly lost their lives or lost loved ones. But it has proven that we are so connected.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
With each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, that's fantastic. And also, you can sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning by clicking on the link below. Please send in the word suggestions for week commencing the 20th. And also, if your birthday is from the 20th through to the 26th of September, please enter your birth details and we can select a winner. And anything else? What haven't I covered?
Oh, if you would like to check out Patrick's 2022 yearly horoscope forecast, please see that link of the playlist in the description box beneath this video. I've watched mine a couple of times now, so it's interesting what's going to be happening for Sagittarius, but you can also find out what's going to be happening for your sign.
Oh, that's very kind. And also, there is the Pisces full moon video for the 20th or the 21st, depending on where you are in the world. If you could pop that in underneath
I'll
as
pop
well.
that in as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Have a brilliant week. And so, Ahana to you. And so it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Take care and bye.
Bye.